Dupree. Thank you for tuning in to a special edition of Steel City News. I'm your host, Luther Dupree, joined as always by my partner, Mike Vick. Very honored, very glad to have our two guests with us today doing great things in the city of Pittsburgh. Two legends. Matter of fact, two Hall of Famers. We've had one on the show before, but not two Hall of Famers.
That's right.
I want to first start by thanking you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's an honor having you.
It's an honor having you. And definitely tell us about the program that you started, the MAASV program. I mean, a great concept, and we definitely want to get behind it and tell the city of Pittsburgh, if you haven't heard, which I don't know how you haven't, but you need to really get involved with this program. Just, Master Yusuf, can you tell them about it?
About 7 years, I started a program in the city called MAASV Martial Arts Against Street Violence. It was allowing a child that is underprivileged in the community to get discipline, which discipline is lacking in the black households. And 7 years ago, we worked through the city and got the program started on the north side at Riverview Presbyterian Church. Got a nice little gathering. Then we moved that program to the east end, and it was a little slow getting funding, and we started at the Kingsley Center, which I met your nephew.
My son.
Your son.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
My nephew.
Jacoby, and other young people, and then we got some funding and got a location, which we're at 6564 Frankstown Avenue, and we've been running it pretty much there, and everything's been going well. And then from there, I got nominated to the Hall of Fame, and that really brought the stigma of the advertisement or media that we need to put across the country to let people know to deal with children on a cleaner aspect, educate them. From a martial artist standpoint, even there at the Hall of Fame, I basically was happy to be awarded that, but I also had a deep down feeling of the depression. I told people when I spoke at the crowd, and I told them that if we do not get back and save our children, we won't have a legacy to even look at. And in time, a lot of people have been answering our calls, coming into the organization and basically supporting us. And since then, we got the program with the Pittsburgh championships, Kumite Classics.
Okay.
And I say it like this, there are people out here in our community that have been behind this, like Curtis Smith has the Ultimate Force Championships. And these gave these children a place in life that they could look forward to in competition.
Right. Okay.
Now, people ask a question about martial arts. How does it affect a child's emotional point? It's an art. And you can do this from the day you're born to the day you die. And understand this dojang for the last 6 years has been healing our community. People have been coming in, children have been growing to adolescence, and I see the effect that it has, and now it's producing. And when I think back, answering the question on what martial arts can do for you, the art itself is a lifetime sport that helps you learn how to curb your emotions. So when a child comes into competition and they win, I'm not really interested in them.
Right.
I'm working with the losers,
Right.
the little kid over in the corner crying. His parent doesn't understand, he's feeling depression. Now, I'll talk to him, try to pull him up.
Right.
In order to be a champion, you have to learn how to lose.
Right.
And if you don't know how to lose, winning is not the aspect. Any man can go in and we can all get a luck of the draw and be happy. But when you face this sport, and you will lose, and understand the point that I try to explain to them going into this, martial arts sees you as no color basis. That's why I excelled in it. I wanted to have my image, but my image was what I decided it to be. But God is good. When I first started coming into the martial arts, I met Jacoby Bazemore.
Right.
And when
A
I met
legend,
him,
true legend.
when I was young, 10
World
years
champion.
old, I'm walking in the door, and people were talking to me saying, I know a world champion. I said, no, you don't. Okay. I walk in and I see this man with a black belt, and then as I start being trained by him and start loving the art, I seen how much work he put into it. I respected that.
Yes.
And in respecting that, and understand this, it was free. And then he said to me, Yusef, I'm gonna be busy, man. I got the world championships. I'm doing a lot of advertisement. I want you to go see my grandmaster. I was like, who? Augustine Lee. I'll take you over there. So I was introduced to him. My mom paid for the tuition, and this is the killer. She didn't have enough to keep me going. So I stopped going. He called my mom's house. Hey, Yusef, you need to come down to the school. We need to talk. Bring your uniform. So I did what he said. I got there, and he said one thing that stuck in my head and to this day. He said, you love martial arts? I said, yeah. He said, you want to keep training? I said, yeah. He said, I need you to mop the floor, stock the pop machine. We'll talk later. We never talked. Over the years, he basically took me to the first Olympics. I basically took states, and age of 15 was national champion, and continued in my quest to grow in the sport.
Okay.
But as I grew in the sport, here you go. Young man not really good on his emotions. They dealt with that. You know, I got people to this day that I cherish and love. I mean, you play a sport, you go back to the high school, is the coach here? No. It's what's going on. Okay, sports are sports.
Right.
Art is from the time you are born to the time you die.
Okay.
Now the biggest experience I had is when I went to the Olympics. This is the point the color barrier got broken.
Okay.
This is like people from other parts of the world couldn't even speak English, but we had one common denominator: martial arts.
Martial arts. All right, now let's bring the legend, the guy you said really got you involved, Master Jaquay. Talk about your experience and how you've been able to, you know, help the sport grow in the city of Pittsburgh and actually the nation. I mean, another Hall of Famer as well.
When I look back at my beginnings as a young man, once again, like most young people, didn't know what I really wanted to do as far as sports. I played basketball, I did the football and all that, but none of those sports, being team sports, really fulfilled me, because if I wasn't, you know, out there doing my best and still having to fall short because of what the team did, you know, I didn't get no real personal gratification. So I was at the YMCA, and I came upstairs one afternoon and I saw this class, and it was a martial arts class, and who was teaching the class was Master Augustine Lee. He had just came to Pittsburgh from Korea, staying in the Little Sisters of the Poor, and he was there at the Y, you know, doing a class. And so I stood in the doorway, and finally after class he came over and he asked me, you know, was I interested? And I said, yes, sir. And I bowed to him, and he looked at me, he said, you show up tomorrow. And so I came to the class on the next day, and before you know it, look, I look back years later, that was my first introduction to the martial arts. And I'm glad to say that I'm actually one of the second generation of the arts that came to the United States. Arts came to the United States in 1945, 46, after, you know, Americans returned from World War II, and I got into it in the 50s. So I've been doing this art over 50 years. Wow. I grew up in it, and then when I met this gentleman on my right, Yusef, you know, I look at him and I see the expertise that he has today, and I look back to when he came in and I saw him and introduced him to the art and passed him on to Master Lee. I look at him today as a master. He's the visionary that saw that there was a need in the community for a larger group of young people to get involved in something that was going to channel their aggressiveness, kind of set them in a place where they can learn some discipline and kind of, you know, build them up, you know, with a strong foundation. And martial arts is a life art, like he said. You know, it's something that once you begin it, it's a road that you start on, you know, and it continues to lead you to a place, you know, if you continue to want to learn about, you know, who you are.
Okay.
But yeah, so and all the other accolades that I've received, you know, as far as, you know, when I was competing, you know, and fighting and all that, you know, it pales in what we're doing today.
Okay.
What I'm doing today with the school is really trying to invest in young people. So I'm the last person to ask about, you know, your things that you've done, you know. So.
Hey, well, no, we also, you said you were in the East End. You all had the chance to perform at the community festival at East Hills. Can we run some of those clips so you can get a look at some of the kids? How many kids are at the school?
Generally, on each class, we handle 15 children per class, and that's Subba Malik, my head instructor.
Okay.
But you know, like even little Jelani, he's come so far. You know, him and Caesar, that's Caesar there.
Okay.
But they took the art and they ran with it.
Look at that.
So these students that you have, had no martial arts training at all until you got them?
None. Caesar, as you see him now, he's 15. He was 11 when I met him, and the way he's progressed in the art itself is amazing. He went from a negativity personality to an outgoing, very positive young man.
Right. That's one of the things that I was going to ask both of you gentlemen. The components that we all know that martial arts is a way of life. What are some of the attributes that a young child that gets involved in martial arts are sure to ascertain from the discipline of the arts?
Well, from the standpoint of the dress and the the way they present themselves to you. You know, you ain't gonna go nowhere with your pants hanging down.
There you go.
I say, you know, at the point that on an international level, you're not gonna go in front of international masters and into Olympic competition with your pants hanging down.
Right.
So, you know, the point of the image that we have in our black community, it needs to stop.
Right.
I mean, our community is bankrupt. And not only that, the investment time that we put into negativity is tearing our community apart.
So it helps with their self-esteem.
Oh, yeah.
And
And
the
if
personal discipline
you're
as well.
cultured around this. We're open every day during the week. And we do special classes for some people that are requesting it. But to change a child's personality is an everyday chore. It's not one day. It's not for 2 hours and you took the discipline out of the schools. There's no discipline at home. So where's the breakdown? Okay, on a child, it's 24 hours a day. And I tell you, you invest in it, it'll return. And these children are returning. And you can look at them and their abilities and understand this. And anybody that has involved themselves in martial arts knows one thing. A martial arts child is totally different than another child. And as I experienced that myself, I said, this is the way to go. Now, understand what you may see in your community through the garbage in, it's going to be garbage out.
Exactly.
Okay? You can't expect the community or the nation to do anything for you unless you're producing for it. And as we say, the oneness of life is a truth that can only be fully realized once the false notion of a separate self whose identity can be considered apart from the whole is forever annihilated. That's a deep thing, okay? Because we go into prayer on that every time we do class. But every day, these children are dealing with issues. These issues need to be corrected for them to keep their mind clean.
Yeah, I like the whole concept, you know, against street violence. And Mike, we know you've been in street. We've been doing a lot of things with the youth. And I think the program, teaching them martial arts, you know, as a way to build self-esteem, you know, how to defend themselves with their hands, only if they have to. And, you know, like you said, they can't go anywhere sagging. You know, they have to present themselves in a certain level. And looking at you two here, you know, I know your students are like, man, you know, we go out, this is how we have to present ourselves, you know, dressed up, ready to do business.
And when you're representing the community, you know, that is the team we're on, okay? And the disgrace you bring to my team, I'm not with it. I mean, the bottom line, as far as a strong position of a man, it's got to be universal. When I'm saying the world is awake. The world is watching us. Now, we're in this box, and we're thinking that we're making all this money. It's ghetto rah-rah. And the world on the industrial end, not just going to a local job, on the industrial end is paid. I mean, these men make money. But the standpoint, are you prepared? Are you educated? Do you have something to bring to the table? There's no color barrier. You know, we fall into that lack that oh, something's going to happen, or oh, this man is going to be against me. Hey, that's just the game. You know, money, and then as martial arts transfers over, that's where you see the benefit as a parent.
I know what you mean, and you know, the way changing the way that the youth are feeling about themselves, what they can become, and you know, there's another video. I mean, I know you all have been on WQED and a couple other things as well, but one video we saw on the internet, we had the opening, and you're with you know, some community leaders. Can we run that clip real quick?
A Chungmu Kwan Taekwondo school that teaches traditional Taekwondo that goes all the way back to Korea. Our founder is Augustine Lee, who was who's 10th Dan in the Kukiwon Institute. He had a student named Jaquay Bazemore, who is our 9th Dan Grandmaster, who had taught our current founder, Yusuf Owens, who is 6th Dan, the art of Chungmu Kwan Taekwondo. We teach our students discipline. We teach them to say yes sir and no sir. We teach them to obey the rules. We have 10 rules out when they first come in: to take off your socks, to bow to the dojang, to bow to each other, to say yes sir and no sir when they're spoken to listen to your parents and to those in authority, to work hard in school, to work hard at everything that you do, to become the best you that you possibly could be. We teach you to physically be aware of the things that you take into your body, the food that you eat, the images that you see, to be aware of the traps that society has set up, like PlayStation games. We also teach the physicality of learning how to defend yourself. So we deal with anti-bullying. We teach de-escalation, how to, if you have a problem with something, go take it to the teacher. If the teacher can't help you, you tell your parent. If your parent can't help you, then you tell those authorities who can't help you. We teach children the understanding and the respect for authority. So if you have a problem, each student is required to be able to know their own phone number and their home address, so that if there's ever a situation that occurs, they know how to talk to and handle people with authority, such as police, firefighters, and so forth. We also teach traditional Taekwondo, and we're competition-based. So we're involved with all the competition throughout the area. We go to tournaments on a regular basis. We do forms, we do katas, which is, or punseis, which is with open hand forms. We do weapons forms, we do self-defense, and we also fight in kumite.
Yeah, he wrapped it up pretty good. I mean, you are doing a lot for the community. But Mike, you wanted to jump in.
Well, actually, like, I just wanted to commend you on the structure that you, and the foundation that you give the kids. This is what I really feel personally is missing within our community. The wholesome idea, first of all, just the simple thing to raise your hand when you speak. You know, we know the courtesy of pulling your shoes and socks off in the dojo, many blood, sweat, and tears. This is the floor that I work in. But when we give our kids a foundation and give them the discipline, you know, and as you know so well, that kids want that structure, and we need to be in position to give them that knowledge that you, and I want to commend you, gentlemen, on the work that you have done with our community, because I know personally that you are equally excited when a child does well at a tournament, but in the same aspect when he does well at his homework. So I just wanted to thank you for what you've done.
Thank you.
We try to embody the idea of body, mind, and spirit. We try to bring those components together in the individual. You know, things are more acceptable when it's packaged right.
Yes.
You know, when you train up a child in the way that he will go, when he grows old, he'll never depart.
Right.
You know, these are words that have life. They're not dead words. They're words that have life. I'm a Marine. Yes. 2 tours of Vietnam. Wow. So when I look at what's going on around us in our community, I look at that critically. Yes. You know, we're being decimated. And if I'm going to invest anything into my community, I'm going to invest into these young people that are going to be the fruit that we're going to send out.
That's right.
And they, when they come in, they're going to come in one way, but they're not going to leave the same way.
That's right.
I don't care if they stay in until they get a black belt or whatever have you, but I guarantee you, once they step in that door, they'll be forever changed.
Yes.
And so that's our mission. That's always been my mission. I've always been one that was a part of the community. Like you hear, I've said over and over, I don't talk about my, laureates and all those kinds of things. I let, the work speak for itself.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Let somebody else write the story.
Right.
I'm living it now.
That's right.
I'm out here, I'm doing what I need to do in my community.
Yeah.
And when I look at Yusef and what he's done, he had a vision years ago. And it just laid with him as a young man. He grew up with this vision. And when he put forth this idea of martial arts against street violence, it was a mission for the time. And God knows we need to touch our young people, in a place where they're at.
Yeah.
Now, see, we can't take them out of Homewood or North Side or South Side, but guess while they're yet still in the place, we can teach them those types of things so we can help them and keep them, and so they can be more adverse to being able to go out, go to school, and be those type of people that other kids will look at as an example. Right. And like we said, instead of walking around with your pants hanging down, they're looking at these young people that are coming out of the massive system and walking with a little bit of pride in who they are, and being an example, and not bullying anybody.
And speak with dignity and respect.
Speak with respect.
Yes,
Right.
I've been around those kids. And,
yes, sir.
Anytime that they're around unsupervised, they carry themselves and discipline you.
I still say yes, sir.
Yes.
And
I
yes,
mean,
ma'am.
anyone that's around those kids, not that other martial arts programs aren't excelling, but you could tell a massive kid.
Yes, sir.
That's true.
We care.
Now you talked about you moved to Frank. Give the address again.
6564 Frankstown Avenue.
Okay. When we did have one more, I think Chris Moore had done a special on you guys as well. Can we run that clip? You all have been getting some assistance from the media, and of course, hopefully there'll be more coming because what you're doing is great work. Can we run those clips?
At Open House, we are going to introduce the world to MAASV Martial Arts Academy. She ain't afraid of nothing. Look, this is a champion right here. This little girl here, I'm telling you, I can't wait to be a part of her development. She gonna break all the records. She gonna take all the champions. I can't wait to see what she do.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of her. This has been a dream of mine to introduce it to the political environment, to the business environment, to the spiritual and church environment, to welcome all the community to come out and join in the celebration of celebrating these young men and women who come and join this program here in MAASV Martial Arts Academy. So you teach them small things like make sure that you put your shoes away, keep your room clean, do your homework, teach them order and put order or discipline in their life, and they'll start to implement discipline on a regular basis. Ready?
My granddaughter's in the program.
What do you think she's learning?
I think she's learning discipline. I think she's learning her self-worth, that she's important and she is somebody. And I think she's learning to be better in school. And that's important.
We're personally involved with this. This is not just something that we do for financial reasons or financial gain. It's something that we take to heart. And that's different than, I think, what makes us one of the best martial arts schools in Pittsburgh, is the heart.
Wow, impressive stuff. Impressive. Now, how can someone get involved? They see the show, they see you on here, they're like, wow, my child really. What ages do you work with?
5 to 15 years old. You can
Okay.
go on the website, get the address. We're at 6564 Frankstown Avenue. We do a lot of great things. We just linked with the city.
Okay.
We're going to do workshops during the time. The bottom line, I tell people, we can't protest, we can't resist this. we have to open the door with the police department. So they have opened their door. We're going to have an open house at the Zone 5. And we're going to have something for the children, which will be advertised. But we're also going to have an open house network for people to apply for a job through the fire department, EMS, or the police department. Now understand this, us as black people have been conditioned to fear authority, okay? We should become part of that authority. We have to step up as men, okay? Now, we have an issue, yes. It's all this web of negativity that's been spun around us. But if you break that apart, start seeing the possibilities, make a personal commitment between you and the society and the government, and it'll deliver for you.
Right. And now you said the police, they were at your program not too long ago.
Yes, sir. They've been coming by. They definitely see what we're doing. They want to be involved with the children and the mayor and the chief of police. Understand this, the old regime is gone. It's about new and opening things. Us as people have to come together. And I tell people, look, you know the address. If you have something to offer or need assistance for a child or have something to offer to help us move our program, it's a mission. It's going to be bigger than you can imagine. Like, we're dealing with people all over the country. And understand this, martial arts is a world thing. It has nothing to do with me, Jaquay, Malik. It has to do with our world. And until we as people start coming together and realizing that, we're sinning. That's all I can say.
We have a picture of, when I guess the police chief came down. Can we run that picture? Now, who's this? These are some of the kids that are involved as well, and that was the new commander?
Yeah, Commander O'Connor. And he's been a very good asset for us in our community. And as I said, we have to develop and take the fear away from our children. They have been scarred by the history of what we've been through. Now understand this, I'm 3 generations of entrepreneurship. I stood with my granddad in front of a cleaners when they firebombed and burnt the city down for the affirmative action. So that deeply is in my heart. But in order for us to rise up, it's not violence. The bottom line, if I love my brother, I come to the end. And there are a lot of people, and color is not my issue. My issue is better people. And if they understand that, they're with me. If not, just move out.
Great program. You said ages from 5 on up to
15.
15.
And we do adults. We do females. Martial arts is universal. Everybody's a martial artist. It depends on where you start. And as you get into the meditational side of it, a lot of us need that. They deal with issues, and psychologists can diagnose your child, but the natural route is the way to go. Not padding it, not suspending it, dealing with it direct. And understand this, we have children that are really handicapped as far as mentally, but in their heart, they are involved. I don't cut anybody out. Like if you watch our programs, you'll see some children, you would never know that they have mental issues because they're relaxed.
Right. And you set that standard, and they try to achieve that. I did want to get Master Jaquay in here a little bit. Now, your involvement, now you said you used to do some mixed martial arts even back in the day. Now we know it's kind of big here, but you said even back in the day you were kind of the founders of it.
Yeah. Back in the day in 1975, we put on programs called the Tough Man Contest, which was the prelude to the MMA. And so we just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Heinz History Hall of Fame, for that effort. And now, mixed martial arts is everywhere. So yeah, we go back, like I said, I'm a second generation karateka, and now, Yusef is a third generation. So we have a direct lineage to when the martial arts came to this country. Taekwondo, our system, is a very, very dynamic system which teaches not only just the discipline of the martial arts, but also it deals with the inner person. It's really, really key on how a person develops mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know, so that's one of the things that separates our arts from most of the other arts.
Okay.
So yeah, when we really work hard at trying to make sure that these young people are receiving the best that we have to offer.
Now, he's being real humble.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know,
Yeah.
man.
All right, now, we
Listen,
at the Hall
man.
of Fame, and I tell him, I said, look, I got the grandmasters together, and you know how I work. I go behind the scenes, and I tell all of them, when this is over, I need you for an hour. Now, I'm talking about Frank Dukes, Billy Blanks, all the international guys. And we get together, and I ask them one question. How did God bring you back into the martial arts? Now, in that conversation, I'm telling you purely from the heart, Billy was looking at him as his hero. Okay, his fighting debut should have been bigger than ever, but you know, back in the day, mixed martial arts wasn't known like it is now. You know what I mean? And we had some greats of color that was involved in that. And to hear Billy Blanks, which I know, you know, we fought together, we fought on teams together, but to hear him say that this man was his hero, okay? Now see, these are the heroes we need to put our money into. You know, I had no problem with rap, but if you're not lifting our children up and showing black power or about self and about women issues and rights, you're going to go down that bad road. You know, and it's just history will tell us. You know, and as they mark the pages of history that I'm involved with, I'm coming to you from my heart. You know,
that's right. I know that's. I wish we had more time, but what events do you have coming up? I mean, I know the website. You said your Facebook. They can follow you guys at MAASV.
Yeah, we got
your
the Ultimate
website?
Force Championships coming up at Pitt Fieldhouse. We'll be there with the children competing. You can go on our website to get the date. It's at Pitt Fieldhouse, big showing. Curtis Smith is doing an excellent job. He has our same organization running through his gym. And Billy Blanks just opened his facility on the West Coast. So we're going on it as a big campaign. It's a movement. You know, it's about the children. If you got something to offer in the community to uplift these kids, come see me. You know?
All right, Master Chukwu, any final thoughts that you want to tell the viewing audience?
Be encouraged. I'm one of those people. I come in with my drum. I am a drum major, and I'm a drum major for the right things. You know, if you think right and you live right, the things that you will give out will be right. And if we, as a community, come together, barring your titles and all that, but coming as human beings, reach out, touch one another, show some love to your neighbors, and encourage, like I said, you know, the positive things in your lives, and that's always going to be my message. You know, and the martial arts is my vehicle that I use, and MAASV, it's the door that we're bringing all these young people into, so that when they go out, once again, they're going to go out as individuals that are ready to accept the challenge.
Couldn't have said it any better. And I wish we had more time, but we're definitely going to follow MAASV. Pittsburgh, get behind them. You have kids, 5 on up, females, adults. They do it all. Make sure you get in contact with them. And we definitely have to get some of your fights and run them out here so people can see, you know, the greatness that the Hall of Famers. You know, that's the next time you come on. We need to have some DVDs running in the background as well.
We got them.
But thanks. Make sure you check them out. I'm Luther Dupree for Mike Vick. I want to thank MAASV Pittsburgh for coming on. They're doing big things. Pittsburgh, get behind them. We'll check you out next time.
We just want to thank you for all you're doing in the community and the work you're going to do in the
There
future.
you go.
Thank you, sir.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Once again, it's been an honor.
sir.
Make sure you check them out and check out the website, scsportsworld.com. We'll be following them. Make sure you get behind them, send the kids. If you have any expertise, you want to help them out by donations and everything else, make sure you do that, Pittsburgh. And on that note, we'll catch you next time. Check out the website, scsportsworld.com.
Good.